there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name is Matt, and today we're going to review Deep Cuts #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for Deep Cuts #1. It is an Image comic, and it is by Higgins, Clark, Bayruth, Monty, and Oatsman Alehu. And we start off in New Orleans in 1917, and we see a young man coming into town, and this is our main character. His name is Charles Stewart, and he is there to find a specific musician who is named Jack Cartier, and he's on a mission to play for that man. So after searching for a long time, he finally finds a club that Jack Cartier is playing at, but unfortunately, he's a little too young to enter these establishments. So the doorman rejects him and says he can't come in. So Charles decides to go around to the side and stand on top of a crate and play his clarinet through the window, hoping that Jack will hear him. And that is exactly what happens. Jack hears him, likes what he hears, so he tells the doorman to let Charles in. So they talk for a bit, and Jack actually tells Charles that he has a gig for him the next day. So the next day after church, Charles arrives to the gig, and he starts setting up his clarinet, but Jack tells him, "Oh wait, I didn't want you to play on this gig. I wanted you to carry my trumpet case." And of course, Charles is disappointed by this, and Jack can see that, so by the end of this gig, Jack actually tells Charles there is another gig that does pay that he got him for the next night. And this new gig is actually at a brothel, and Charles isn't really fazed by that because he just wants to play music. So he gets ready next to the piano player, and the piano player asks him if he knows any of these songs, and unfortunately, Charles doesn't know any of the regular songs that they're supposed to play. So the piano player says, "Well, let's see how good you are," and he just tells Charles the key of the song and sees how he can do on the fly. So as the first couple customers come in, the music starts, and Charles is really unsure of himself. He is very scared and nervous because he doesn't know this song, but the second that he begins to play, the music takes over, and that's where I'm going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I picked this comic up because I'm a big fan of jazz music and jazz history, and I really like the art style in this as well. The cover is amazing, and the interiors are really good too. And also, this is a 40-page issue, so you're getting a lot for your buck because it's only $5.99. And even though this is a 6-part series, I believe they're all kind of one-shots or at least self-contained stories about different times in jazz history. So by the end of this, you feel like you got a complete story, but you are interested to see what they're going to showcase next. I like the way Kyle Higgins wrote this story. Because he had a larger page count for the issue, there's definitely a bit of breathing room, and it really gives him time to introduce the character of Charles, and you get to learn about his family life and his passion for music, and I like that a lot, but that could also be a bad thing because there were some points where I was wanting the plot to move a little faster. But by the end of it, I really liked the story, and I thought Higgins did a great job setting up some things that happened at the end, earlier on in the issue, that I didn't even see were setups. So he did a really good job of skillfully writing all that stuff. Like I said earlier, the cover's great and the interiors look fantastic. Music is a very hard thing to show on the page, but I think they did a really good job of translating what the music feels like to the players and to the listeners. And while I was reading, I felt like I could hear some of that music in the background. And that's the best you could hope for with comics that are about music. So for the artist to pull that off, that's a pretty big feat. So overall, I really liked this issue. I'm definitely going to pick up the rest of the series as they come out. So I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5. I think it's really well written. I liked the format. The art is fantastic. The only problem I had with it was sometimes the pacing felt a little slow, but that is just a personal preference, and you might not have that same issue. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.